now listening to the Zay Moore podcast.
I want to know what Zay thinks
There's
about
a few
that.
things that we got to address.
Black people got the swag. Black people set the trends. We are the culture. We got a reality star for our president. It's insane. Even if they try to erase black history out of schools, it's not going to erase black history. Because we've been here. Kendrick Lamar definitely beat Drake in that battle. Hands down. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep it real with my people. Because if we don't keep it real with each other, who will?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only Zay Moore, and I want to welcome you back to a brand new episode of the Zay Moore podcast. Yes, thank y'all for tuning in. I know we weren't scheduled to meet today, but there's some things we got to unpack, y'all. As of this morning, there are a few things that came across my desk that we got to discuss. Trump is deploying the National Guard to D.C., declaring a state of emergency. But is it really a state of emergency? We're going to unpack that and unpack a lot of the bullshit that was said during the press conference this morning. I was tuning in and it was just like a bunch of lies. You know, what can he be saying? The lies, a lot. That's all I was hearing, the lies. But we're going to dive into this and why this might not be a good idea. It might cause more harm than good. We're also going to quickly go over Diddy wanting to be a DV advocate. And I guess this is his team's way of, trying to escape jail time, right? He's saying that due to everything he's been through, he can come out and teach the ways of love. Come on now. I do believe his team is going to be going for time served, but yeah, we'll get into that. And then I do have a health tip of the week for y'all. Do you walk? Do you know the benefits of walking? I'm going to let you know. And if I sound still a little, my voice is deeper than usual, y'all know I'm a little under the weather, so I do apologize if your eardrums or the bass and whatever device you're listening to is rumbling right now, because I know it's making my voice sound extra dinosaurish, but I still appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with me, all right? So let's go ahead and dive in and start with Diddy's latest bid to avoid jail time. All right, guys. So, Business Insider and The Rock Times are reporting that Sean Diddy Combs' defense team has included in his sentencing strategy a proposal that he serve as an anti-domestic violence advocate, specifically that he would counsel abusers and work with domestic violence programs to educate youth and others about preventing abuse. This effort is being positioned as part of his redemption plan, with the aim of securing a lighter sentence, potentially time served instead of prison, as we discussed a lot here, during his October 3rd sentencing hearing. I'm also seeing some critics that just are arguing this morally and strategically mistimed, especially being that the 2016 video of the Cassie Ventura assault is still so fresh in people's mind, right? I want to quickly go to The Breakfast Club. Again, shout out to Lauren LaRosa. Shout out to Charlamagne, Just Hilarious, DJ Envy, the whole Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa, she covered this morning, and she has some great details that I think are privy to this whole attempt. So I want y'all to go ahead and check this out, and I'll be right back.
Well, listen, so what Alexandria Shapiro, who's the attorney that spoke to Business Insider, is saying is that in the future, Diddy wants to work with domestic violence programs. He says that he wants to talk to like other, people who are committing these acts and children and just, different people to basically say, hey, here's what happened to me. Here's what I went through. I don't want y'all to do the same things, make the same wrongs that I did. Basically trying to help people before they get to that point.
Yeah, in the future, after you've done the work, I have no problem with that. But right now, you need to be a student in those classes, not a teacher. You just lied about this last year. Literally. Mm-hmm. Remember when Cassie first made the accusations and he said it wasn't true, then the video came out and he had to put his video out apologizing?
Yes.
He just lied about this last year.
Well, speaking of Cassie, her attorney, Douglas Wigdor, he spoke to Rolling Stone in response to the story, and he called this utterly preposterous. He says, at this point, or other people in the article, they have sources, they don't name them, but these are alleged victims of Diddy's that are saying that it's manipulation. It's manipulation because he hasn't even fully done the work yet. So to try and, create this narrative that you want to go and help people do things that you haven't figured out for yourself yet, it's manipulation and it's disrespectful. And it's almost like I was going to say a slap in the face to the victims, but
Absolutely.
Well,
More of that.
the judge realizes this is a PR stunt and not genuine rehabilitation. So when the judge doesn't, give him leniency at his sentencing, it's going to be stuff like this. That's the reason why.
I agree. I really do agree with everything that they were saying. And why the timing of this is considered so problematic is because you got to remember the proximity to the conviction. He was just found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. So you can argue, right, positioning yourself as a credible domestic violence advocate right after that seems a little crazy. Also, the survivors, right, the trauma trust, such a proposal would risk further harm to the survivors, or potential, right, harm to the survivors, not even physically, but maybe mentally. Maybe they might start going through it because they feel like he's how is someone who caused me harm now the face of getting over it? That in itself can cause whiplash, right? So, and then that next to the public and legal optics, it just raises a lot of questions about whether this is a genuine path for Diddy. And again, I know that his team is just doing their job, right? They're overworking, trying to figure out ways, that they can present him to be a changed man, and hoping that helps with a lighter sentence. But I do think, again, as I keep saying, that just throwing these crazy ideas out there and continuously bothering the judge is just going to cause them to lay it on you hard, of course, when they get to the conviction date on October 3rd. Just do the work, Diddy. Do the work first, right? And I can hear him, I'm just picturing him like, yeah, like, I've been through this and now I feel like, I could be the face of it. Nah, that's not how it works. That's like somebody who went and got plastic surgery doing a campaign on how to naturally stay fit. It just doesn't make sense. So again, closing on this, I just say, did he do the work first? Because right now, it just seems like you and your team are trying to do whatever you can to get a lighter sentence, which, hey, again, that's what they're paid to do. They're supposed to be doing that. But we got to call a spade, think logically, and the judge and everybody overseeing this case is probably just getting more annoyed by the minute. So yeah, just relax, Diddy. October 3rd is right around the corner. I'm praying for the best for him, because we have other people in Hollywood who are probably doing way worse. Again, right? You got to think about it. Diddy didn't just come into Hollywood knowing all of this, right? Somebody taught him this. So I'm not just going to point the finger at Diddy, right? Accountability is accountability. And that's just what it is, right? So, of course, he does have to take the accountability for what he's done and the repercussions. But again, this has been a ongoing thing in Hollywood. He's not the first person to use these power tactics on people. So before y'all just point at Diddy, relax, okay? And again, that's not me taking up for anything he's done at all. I think the things that he was found guilty of were just him being a freak, right? But all of the beating and the corrosion and the power tactics and that to me was just sad to see. So again, I'm not taking up for anything that he's done, but you have to look at Hollywood. Like, this is just not a Diddy issue. This is a Hollywood issue. All right? And I'm going to leave it there. All right. So, moving on, guys. Let's talk about Trump deploying the National Guard in D.C. All right. So, here's the latest. This is via the New York Times. This was just updated about 52 minutes ago. So, President Trump significantly escalated his efforts to exert federal authority over the nation's capital on Monday, saying that he was taking control of the city's police department and deploying 800 National Guard troops to fight crime. The president painted a picture of Washington, including bloodthirsty criminals and roving mobs of wild youth, that stood in sharp contrast to official figures shown violent crime in the city is at a 30-year low. So before we go over the numbers, I want y'all to take a listen to this clip via CNN of Trump during his spiel of lies, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening. They've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
Properly. So in contrast to what he is saying when it comes to the crime, right? The U.S. Attorney's Office reports that violent crime in D.C. dropped 35% in 2024 compared to 2023, the lowest level in over 30 years. Notably, homicides fell 32%, robberies 39%, and armed carjackings 53%. Mayor Muriel Bowser also confirmed that violent crime in the city has been trending downward over the past 2 years, leading to rising public confidence. Also, the year-to-date data supports the decline in 2025. Data from the Metropolitan Police Department, the MPD, shows a 26% drop in violent crime and a 5% decrease in property crime compared to last year. Moreover, 2025's homicide court has dropped to 98, according to practice tracking data. Okay, so if the numbers are numbering, where's he getting his information from? The lies is right, Candy, because overall the data does not support Trump's statement that crime in D.C. is rising. It actually shows consistent year-over-year reductions in both violent and property crimes. So one might ask, so why would Trump be deploying National Guards to D.C. if numbers are in fact going down, right? If the numbers are numbering. Well, Trump's push to deploy the National Guard to D.C. despite these numbers that we're seeing seems to be less about reacting to current crime and more about political optics, control, and signaling. That is what I'm getting from this. The political messaging behind all of this is, okay, Trump is framing D.C. as a city in crisis, especially on crime and homelessness, which I don't think deploying the National Guard is going to do anything but cause riots and issues within the communities, right? But even if the data shows decline, the perception of danger can be politically powerful. In this podcast, we say a lot when it comes to the world of media. Perception is currency. Perception is also power, right? And we're dealing with politics here. So the perception of danger can be politically powerful for rallying his base and justifying his aggressive actions. So by stepping in, he positions himself as the law and order leader who acts decisively, even if the local leadership says things are improving. I don't feel like this is a good idea. I feel like this is going to cause community tension, right? Just imagine already dealing with the issues that you have, and then you see a heavy military presence just chilling. Y'all don't think that'll heighten fear and distrust, especially in major black neighborhoods and people of color, Latinos, because we know that's where they're going, right? They're not going to the nice places. So come on now. It's definitely going to cause a lot of community tension and resource strain. The National Guard troops aren't really trained for long-term community policing. So their presence, could actually disrupt existing neighborhood-based strategies. The National Guard is usually pushed out for things like floods, like real state of emergency issues. This is not a state of emergency. It's not a good idea. Let's not even discuss the mixed signals this is sending, right? If crime data is showing improvement, but troops are sent in, it is actually going to undermine public trust. Again, public trust, right? In both local police and federal messaging, creating confusion about what is actually happening. And we've been going through that since Trump has been back in office. A bunch of confusion. So to sum this all up, right? Because I know sometimes when we talk politics, a lot of it can get blurry. If you didn't understand anything that I said today, understand this. The lies. When you control the narrative, you can do whatever you want. And Trump is really good at controlling the narrative, especially since he's become president. You could do it when you have money, but you really got the remote in your hand once you win that Oval Office. So I don't see this as, I'm trying to make DC great again, restore our great capital. I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is basically you're framing DC as an unsafe place so you can justify federal intervention. That's basically what this is. And deploying the National Guard, they might move people around or they might secure an area or two, but that's not going to fix homelessness, right? That's not going to fix low income. That's going to take policy change, affordable housing, health services, not scaring people with the presence of National Guards. And he even said that if he has to, he'll invoke the military. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Are we running America or are we playing Call of Duty? I really need to know at this point. Because let me grab my controller and join the game. You feel me? All right, beautiful people. It's time for our health tip of the week. So tell me that y'all know the benefits of walking, right? You don't? I'm here to tell you. I know a lot of us spend a lot of our times in planes and cars, and it's important to stretch those legs. Number one is it boosts heart health, right? Walking boosts heart health. Walking strengthens the heart, improves blood circulation, and helps lower blood pressure, reducing the risk of heart disease and stroke. Number two is it aids weight management. Regular walking burns calories, increases metabolism, and helps maintain a healthy weight without the high impact of intense workouts. Number three, supports mental well-being. Walking releases endorphins, reduces stress, and can ease symptoms of anxiety and depression, especially when done outdoors and in fresh air. Number four is that it strengthens muscles and bones. It tones legs, hips, and core muscles while improving bone density, which helps prevent osteoporosis. You don't want them legs cracking, right? So you got to stretch them. It improves digestion. A post-meal walk can stimulate digestion, can help regulate blood sugar levels, and reduce bloating. It also enhances sleep quality. Daily walking promotes deeper, more restful sleep by balancing stress hormones and energy levels. Boosts energy and focus. Walking increases oxygen flow and blood circulation to the brain, sharpening focus and reducing fatigue. And last but not least, it supports longevity. Studies link regular walking with a longer lifespan and a reduced risk of chronic diseases. So get your walk on, get your ass out of the car, get your feet moving, and get your health up. You feel me? That's our health tip of the week. Yes, sir. I'll tell you, living in the South, right, but being from the Bronx, being from New York is different because I will walk, right? I will not spend money on gas. I will walk if I can get to where I need to go. I'll walk just because I want to. Not because I have to, but because I want to. And they out here is so lazy. Like, they don't want to walk anywhere. First thing they asking when you got to go somewhere is, how many miles is it? See, in New York, we like, what stop on the train you at? What block you on? Can I walk there? Like, I mean, it's nothing. So I've been on the walking game, you know. I feel like growing up in the city, you just walk, right? You don't think anything of it. So, yes, y'all, get on walking. It's great for your health. I want all my people around for a long time so you can continue to listen to me. So definitely get your walk on today if you haven't. Y'all know what that means once you hear the sound of that beat. That means we have made it to the end of the episode. Yeah, I want to thank y'all for joining me today, tuning in to the Zay Moore podcast. Tomorrow we definitely will have a brand new episode up, ready for y'all. New trending topics to go over, new political bullshit to go over. I want to remind y'all to follow me at the ZayFiles_ on Instagram and the Zay Moore podcast on Instagram. Stay up to date. If you have anything you want me to deep dive, research, talk about, bring to the platform, please send it to me in a DM. But I just want to thank my supporters and thank everyone in the 6 countries streaming us right now. Thank you so much. And again, this has been your boy Zay Moore, and until next time, peace.